Okay, so I'm back again, and this is my video is all about the chapter 13 summary. So, the previous chapter 13 is the contents or what is inside those the chapter, and now I'm gonna summarize what I've understand at that whole chapter. So, let's start. Remote workers, small branches, offices, and home networks are open use wireless routers. So, routers are very important in our time right now. Why? Because everything that we are using or everything that our devices are endpoint devices are really using the internet, and by the use of those wireless routers we can easily connect to the internet without any hesitation and any hassle moment. Just we're gonna connect it with the wireless router and it will connect really. And also which the wireless router uses DHCP to automatically provide addressing information to connect devices. Your first priority should be to change the username and password of your wireless router. Use your router's interface to complete basic networks and wireless setup. If you want to extend the range beyond approximately 45 meters indoors and 90 meters outdoors, you can add wireless access points. The router will use a process called Network Address Translation (NAT) to convert private IPv4 addresses to internet routable IPv4 address. By configuring QoS, you can guarantee the certain traffic types such as voice and video and are prioritized over traffic and not as time sensitive such as email and web browsing. So it is said here that if you want to enhance or a if you want to add the scope of your or your internet around indoors and outdoors, you can add what do you call this? You can add network address translation or the NAT. It is for us to enhance the scope of our internet or our wireless router because the more widely your internet have, the more be useful for you because if you can only connect in this certain part of your room, certain part of your house, what if you're needed or something you needed some you'll have an emergency and you're not part in the house where your Wi-Fi is, you can connect with your Wi-Fi and then you just have to connect that right time. By the use of this that can enhance the use or the range on how your internet so you can connect with is very important really. Next one is lightweight APs or LAPs use the lightweight access point protocol or the LWAP to communicate with LAN controller or the WAC. Configuring a wireless LAN controller WAC is similar to configuring a wireless router except that a wireless controller controls APs and provides more services and management capabilities. Use the WAC interface to view an overall picture of the AP system information and performance to access the advanced settings and to configure LAN. So by the use of this lightweight APs, you can configure also with this um, wireless LAN controllers, you can configure your LAN connections or your wireless connections. Because right now, there's a different types on how you can connect on a wireless connection. There's a one thing that you will just put password. There's a free basis. When my example is about in SM. There's a thing that yes you can connect. You can do connect into internet. There's a thing that's SM free Wi-Fi. Then if when you click the SM free Wi-Fi, it will connecting, and then it will says that it will pop up there that they're signed into network. Sign into network. Then you can sign into network. They will just get your number for that verification if that person is really true, or maybe there's someone who's using that kind of it's just to connect under, or maybe the malware. It is a one thing to invade or to prevent malware on a certain network. Those giving those verification number because malware does I think far as I know because they're using the verification number. Maybe the malware cannot produce that kind of number that cannot produce that kind of thing to to falsificate their means of connecting that kind of network. And also, SNMP SNMP is used to monitor the network. The wireless LAN controller is set to forward or SNMP log messages, code drops into SNMP server. For LAN, for wireless for LAN user authentication, a radio service is used for authentication, accounting, and auditing. That is the triple A that has been stated in the past few chapters that I've tackled all about. Individual user access can be tracked and audited. Use the WLS interface to configure SNMP server and radio server information, VLAN interfaces, DHCP scope, and WPA to interface LAN. So, what is the connection of the triple A services in the wireless router? For example, wireless in the authentication first, in the authentication part. What is the authentication? Authentication is your device. It is the one who will connect. The authorization is the code that the company or the certain company will send on you when you verify your when you're verifying or when you're being verified by the network for you to have the connection. And for the auditing or the accounting, it is I think it is the part where and also part of the authorization is how many hours can you connect on that certain network, because in the SM it is only 1 hour. You only have 1 hour to connect, and after that you already consume your 1 day access of internet in SM, not like before that they give it all the way, just because maybe that time the the most individuals or most person that go into SM is just going there for shopping, not for surfing the net. And also lastly for the accounting is how does you spend, how how many what sites did you spend. It will show them the list of the sites that you go with on while surfing using your internet. So the triple A services is being connected in this wireless configuration. Okay. And also there are 6 steps on troubleshooting process. Like what I've said a while ago, troubleshooting process. So it is said that in the troubleshooting process, before there's maybe the problem is small or complex. When you say small, it is a little problem, but when we say it's complex, that is more bigger and more complex and more harder to fix and to analyze. Troubleshooting or the problem may is not only in the hardware. It may not only do also in the software, and also it might not it might not only deal in the connection in the internet. It also may deal of all of it. That tree, it may be have all the problem. But how can you know the problem? There are certain rules that I've stated in our previous video, the chapter 13 contents, wireless configure or LAN configuration. You can you can go back to the video and you can know that 6 steps. But I will just explain to you what I've already explained, and I will just give my opinion on that certain part of this chapter. In the troubleshooting part, it's really important. It's really good to have that kind of right, because it for me that I'm not a real technician, I can little by little can understand how the technician goes, how the technician think when they are fixing a certain thing. First, they are analyzing, or they are analyzing, or they are asking the user on what happened to their device. That is the first always thing to do, because you can never you can never guess without knowing what might be happening, because after asking the user will tell you something that maybe that the internet doesn't goes along, the internet doesn't work, but they have their internet at home. It may work in their other devices, but in that certain device it may not work. So you may think that there's a problem within the connection of the laptop, and also it deals with also with maybe someone, maybe not someone, but maybe the user clicks something that so that he or she cannot connect with the internet. And also then after that, knowing that after asking the user on what happened to the device, next is try to do a theory or analyze what is the possible problems that may lead with that the user have tell you about. But also always you can always depend on how do you see on the device, because maybe the user are not, I'm not saying that they're not telling the truth, but I'm telling is maybe they didn't fully understand on where the problem were. But that is very important to know the opinion of the user, because he or she is the one who is using it. Then after you're making a theory, try to trial and error. This kind of fixing, this kind of the troubleshooting is a trial and error process. Why? Because you are putting your trust on a theory. It may it may work, it may be work the theory, or it may be not, it may be fail. But after that, if it fail, it's still a good idea, because there is no problem in that certain part that the user have tell, and then you're gonna check about the other parts of the device. And then next is try to correct the the not correct or already fix the device. But after you fix the device, you should also check the whole device itself. Why? Because you've already fix something in the device, and maybe there's a part of the device that doesn't work after that kind of fixing that you've done. So there you should always have preventive measures for you to know if there is a certain part of the device that didn't work after you fix that certain part that is broken. And next is try to do a documentation. Really important. It's not documentation as not are not only for research, are not only for just to prove something, but it also talks about the documentation are for those technicians, future technicians that may, you know, that may deal in that kind of problem, you know. And by the use of that certain, by the use of the documentation, you can surely help those technicians to work more fast and more easy, because they already have that kind of, you can only have that kind of what you call this reference to help them on fixing a certain device. And I hope you've learned something in this video. That's always the summary, and that's what I understand in this chapter 13. Thank you so much for giving your time and effort. Good night